The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emiefele, has debunked false news on him launching fresh plot on the president-elect, Mr. BOLA AHMED Tinubu.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emiefele, on Monday described as false and malicious reports that he was plotting against President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On Monday, the headline by the Nation newspaper read that Emiefele launched a fresh plot against President-elect Tinubu and went on to report sources stating that the CBN had released 500 million naira in new banknotes to shore up the campaign of the Labour Party in Lagos State, and that he allegedly provided the funds for the party's gubernatorial candidate, Gbadebo Rose-Vivour, to enable him defeat incumbent Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in Saturday's election. Well, in a statement released on Monday, Emiefele said that he has never met or even spoken with Gbadebo Rose-Vivour. Dr. Abate, it's refreshing that the CBN quickly debunked that news.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, Mr. Godwin Emiefele has said he didn't do what they said he did, not my deed. And he didn't do it, and he has debunked it. And all of that is in the public domain. However, what we need to worry about is journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
Part of the responsibility of journalists is to ensure what Francis Merrill calls responsible journalism. And responsible journalism, as explained in that book, does not allow journalists to just put stories out because it serves their own personal purposes. In this regard also, ownership is a factor. Everyone knows that the nation is owned by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a politician. And again, we have seen a certain temptation on the part of the journalists in that medium to use it to pursue the objectives of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if they think Emiefele is not their friend, then they cook up a story after the famous name of Miss Cook, who first created a scandal in that regard of journalists distorting the details, the story, cooking up stories. So they cook up something, and then say this is what it is. So I don't think that ownership should become a burden to the extent that the ethics, the standards of journalism will be violated. Now, this is not the first time people are calling out the nation. Not too long ago, I think last week, the nation also did a story in which they accused former Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Anduaka, of saying that Arise Steve lied against him, whereas that was not what he said.
Absolutely not.
What he said in the statement he issued was that social media commentators and speculators and the nation were twisting what he said on Arise News. So this is an issue about journalistic standards, about integrity. For the editors of the nation, maybe they are desk editors, maybe they are not senior editors, but for the gatekeepers who keep committing this blunder one after the other, I refer them to Nnamdi Azikiwe's My Odyssey, which is Nnamdi Azikiwe's autobiography. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe used to own a chain of newspapers in this same country. But the people working for him then thought that they could use the newspaper to fight his political fights. And they were libeling people. By the time the chickens came home to roost, and the papers from West African Pilot to the Comet to other papers within the chain were taken to court, the libel cost was so much that the inimitable, legendary Nnamdi Azikiwe just decided to close down the newspapers. If anyone doubts my narrative, the person should read Nnamdi Azikiwe, My Odyssey. So, at the end of the day, those journalists who think they are using the platform to serve political interests may in the long run, as those who worked in the Zik chain of newspapers, group of newspapers discovered, may be sabotaging themselves.
All right. Well, before I come to you, Rufai, Ayo, this news is coming as the CBN has released that circular state allowing for the use of old banknotes. Yes. But also, videos began circulating that, did the CBN not say that they had burnt those old monies that were deposited at that time? So how is this going to happen in the future? If we can just pull up that video that was circulating online yesterday showing where, or as the CBN had burnt the old notes.
Now, Abel, what is this? No. What is this? Okay, we go state. But if you look closer now, you will see the money. And we suffer for Nigeria. See, they grind money, See,
it's 500 though.
Men are see now, 500 naira. Men are see.
I've already poured this back, so.
See.
It's 500 though.
All this one are money. See, then grind money. They come.
Ayo.
Oji, let me be like Rufai and quote a song. If you ask me, who will I ask? Because the evidence is there that they burnt the old notes. Are they going to spend money printing new old notes? So I don't understand. I said it earlier this morning that where we should learn lessons from what had happened and retain the window of opportunity that this presented us in the last 3 months.
Yes.
If we're going to be printing old notes, it makes no sense.
Wasn't it Governor Adeleke that also said, make sure that you're going to be able to give out those new notes? Because I believe that there were some stories going around that the banks were not collecting the old notes.
I mean, Oji, we'll look at this how it pans out in the coming days. I mean, I don't want to see anything now, but we'll see it as it pans out in the coming days. You see, when politicians think their interest is better than the interest of the general public, then these are the kind of confusions we cause in society. But real quickly, it's very sad what the Nation newspaper has done. They've been part of a brigade of spreading fake news, which is wrong. And we all see the historical antecedents. It's called yellow journalism. We know how it starts from. Sensational journalism, hyperbole here and there.